Go. This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. We've come to the end of the Big Wolf on Campus episode reviews. We have officially reached the final official episode, The Sum of All Fears. Why do I feel like this should have been Thanks instead of the other one? But this is not a traditional episode. This is a clip show. It's basically a best of episode. They listed the fan picked top 5 favorite fight scenes, male villains, female villains, and episodes. And they also go through some bloopers, which I won't talk about because they're just bloopers. But there are some deleted scenes that I want to talk about. We will. But first, it's a fourth wall breaking episode. Hold on. Let me turn this crooked. It's an episode that breaks the fourth wall right away. They introduce themselves by their regular names: Brandon Quinn, Danny Smith, and May Castle. And it's a very special episode of Big Wolf on Campus. And so it's not in the traditional sense of an episode, although there is a gag, which is the thumbnail for this, where they go to commercial and they come back, and Brandon Quinn would normally narrate as Tommy, and Danny comes up behind him and goes, or Merton, Danny Smith, whatever, goes, Brandon, you don't need to, you can talk directly to him. This is a very special episode. You don't need to narrate in your head. So, yeah. So basically, it's a best of episode voted on by the fans, and so we start off with our top 5 fight scenes. Now, I think these are good choices. I don't know if I would consider these in my top 5 scenes. I'm not doing a list for that, just the episodes from each season and then overall. Down the line, I don't know if I'll do them right away. Yeah, I got plans. And at the end of this video, I will tell you what my next plans are. But number 5 fight scene, Big Bad Wolf, which is, they show the scene where Tommy and the evil version of him are fighting. You can do it, Tommy. Or you can do it. You know, fighting. And number 4, Flugelhoff. Tommy, she's got balls. I kind of like that fight scene, a wheelchair thing. That's kind of cool. Everybody Feng Chung tonight. Interesting that a more recent chapter was on here. Actually, the common, most of these. But, yeah, it's a nice fight scene. Number 2, Manchu, Part 2, which is the fight between the leader and Lori. Yeah, it's a pretty good fight scene. And number 1, Imaginary Fiend, which, if you're wondering what that was, I wrongfully called it Invisible Fiend. It's Imaginary Fiend, although he is invisible to everyone but Merton. Imaginary Fiend. I even changed the name of the episode title in my review for it. So, although I probably say Invisible Fiend throughout the video, but it's an Imaginary Fiend. Number 1, fight scene. You know, in the cafeteria and everything. Yeah, that's a pretty good fight scene. I don't know if it'll be number 1 for me, but you know. Then we get some deleted scenes. They're all from season 3, but the 2 of them are from Stone Free. One with Lori and Tommy talking about. It calls back, like I mentioned, my problem was that they don't mention the whole love triangle thing at the end of season 2. But this calls back to it, where Tommy's like, "So you kissed Merton? What was he like?" You know, and then the second one is Merton asking the same thing, basically. You could have kept the Tommy one in. One of those scenes would have worked. The Merton one is too goofy, as it's after he's brought back, of course, and he's sort of blind, and Lori's pushing him around on a cart, or whatever you call those things. And the Tommy one would have been fine to keep in, but you know. From being Tommy Dawkins, it's the scene I mentioned before, where Bucky talks to Tim, and Tim explains where Travis is, which could have kept that in, kind of explain why he wasn't there. They do mention it later, though, another episode that he went to trade. So, and then from everybody, Feng Chung tonight, it's just Tommy pulling a prank on Lori and people listening to the radio station. That one's okay to take out. Next, we get top 5 male villains. Number 5, Leonard St. Jacques. Milton. Yeah. He was a decent villain. I liked him. Number 4, Corey Haim. Yeah, I could see that Corey Haim. Number 3, death. Yeah, that's a good one. Number 2, Butch. Definitely. You know, this is probably going in what I would say in my top 5. I don't know about St. Jacques, but, you know. And number 1 is Vince. Butch would probably be number 1 for me, but Vince is number 1 for the fans. Vince was good. That's 2 so far, dominated by that episode. We're not done. They go to commercial, they come back, and they do the female villains. So number 5 of favorite female villain is Terry from the Scary Terry episode. This is the first one. This list is kind of a weird one. Terry is the best female villain. Is the number 5, I guess, is on the list of. She was okay. It's not one of my favorite episodes, to be sure. Number 4, Cassandra. Was she really a villain? She had a thing for Merton and only went after Tommy when she found out he was a werewolf. And technically, Christina was more of a villain than Cassandra was, and she was just trying to survive by eating what helped her survive, which was werewolf blood. Not really a villain, more of an anti-hero in a sense. And she kind of helped her get rid of the werewolf syndicate. So. Number 3, Carol. Yeah, she's more of a villain than Cassandra, and she was good. Probably the only clip in here that has Stacy in it in the entire clip of the thing. Number 2, Medusa. Yeah, that's a decent villainess. Number one we're going to talk about. It's Muffy. Muffy wasn't a villain. Again, she was just doing her job. Like Cassandra trying to survive. She's just trying to do her job. She's a werewolf slayer. That's what she does. She's not really a villain. She wasn't even the villain of the episode. It was a crazy soul-sucking. Why do I always mess up that? Soul-sucking salesman. But yeah, she wasn't even the villain of that episode. It was the soul-sucking salesman guy. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one to put as even on a list of people to choose. Muffy. She wasn't really a villain. I digress. We then do the bloopers, the outtakes, whatever, and they're funny. There was one episode where they showed the bloopers in season 3. These were mostly from season 3. There's a couple from season 2, mostly season 3. I don't know. I like to see. Maybe they, they showed Rachel Lefebvre once. Maybe they just couldn't show a bunch of stuff with her in it, like her bloopers or whatever. I don't know. It would have been cool. But then we get to our top 5 favorite Big Wolf episodes as voted on by the fans. You're probably not going to be surprised what number 1 is, but number 5, The Manchurian Werewolf. Pizza's here. Yeah, that's a good one. And I already said that part 1 is better than part 2, so yeah, that's a good one. Number 4, Everybody Fang Chung Tonight. Hey, it's a good episode. I don't think that, I don't know. And again, that's another one that's basically on each list except for the male villains. So it's connected at some point. Number 3, Time and Again. Yeah, that's a good one. Pay for a little bit of the wisdom. Let me say goodbye. It's a watch. I'm stupid. Not stupid enough to trick. You're not stupid enough. You're still smart enough to fall the trick, Number 2, She Will Rock You. Man, it's a decent episode. In the first cliffhanger, I remember really being like, oh my god, what's going to happen, And number 1, to no surprise, is Vince. In a lair with the lead pipe. It's Imaginary Fiend. It would be my number 1, but I can see why people would pick it number 1. It's a good episode. Strong villain, likable villain, strangely enough. Yeah. And basically they say goodbye. Something I gotta mention before I go. During the intro of this, there's like a fourth wall nod wink during Daddy Smith's credit, Merton, where he looks at the camera and goes, I wrote this. When I was younger, and even like 10 years ago, I thought he meant the episode. Now I realize, and watching it here, I went, he means the song. And then I wrote this, and I was like, oh, it clicked in my head. Oh, he means the song. He wrote the song because he sings the song. So, yeah, and then at the end here, when they say goodbye, he's playing the guitar. I never connected that. I wrote this to the song. I thought he meant the episode or something. I don't know why I think he wrote the episode. Maybe he came up with the idea. I don't know. But no, it's the song he's talking about. He wrote the song. And there we have it. The end of Big Wolf on Campus reviews. Feels good to be done. I want to do Zach Files, but I'm going to take a big break before I go through any of the... There's only 2 seasons, but there's like almost as many episodes because there's 26 episodes in each season. 26? Or there's 22 episodes. That makes it 4. There's a lot of episodes in each season, so it might be there's close to the same amount. But it's going to be a while before I get to those. I want to do them, but something's going to wait. Because I got other stuff I'm going to do. Like, Sequel-a-thon 2, which I'm waiting on some stuff to do. Pick 10 90s 2, which is going to be my next big project. And then I have a run of comic book movies I'm going to do. But that's not the next immediate project. Because I have a revisited review and then 2 of its sequels that I'm going to do. And that is the Cloverfield movies. I'm finally going to tackle these. I'm going to revisit this. I did this quite a while ago. I don't know if it's long enough to do one, but screw it. Let's like with RoboCop. I'm going to revisit RoboCop when I do that franchise. So, Cloverfield. And I'll finally do 10 Cloverfield Lane and the Cloverfield Paradox. And, get those done. My next project. I might even get out Cloverfield today. And then do the other 2 tomorrow. Possibly. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah. Thank you for coming with me on this journey into Big Wolf on Campus, which I think is an underrated TV show. It's in my top 10. Maybe not shows of all time, but like, maybe in an underrated thing. I seem to realize I grew up on a lot of Canadian TV. I mean, I come from Minnesota. We're very close to the edge of that. Although I am in southern Minnesota. But when you get a lot of Canadian stuff, like Big Wolf on Campus, Zach Files, Strange Days at Lake Halsey High, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Stuff like that just comes across the board. Degrassi. There's a lot. The End played a lot of Canadian TV series. They brought him over here. But yeah. It was... Degrassi's another thing. I've wanted to tackle Degrassi. I don't know how to tackle it, though. By episode or by season. I feel like going by season wouldn't do justice to each of the episode stories that they're telling. I could tackle the episodes as retro rewinds, but I feel like I have to go in order so I can talk about continuity. It's a weird series that I've wanted to do, and even then, I think I only do the first 9 seasons because 1, that's all I own, and 2, I stopped watching after season 9. I was done. All my favorite characters were pretty much gone. The characters I followed were gone, so I was just done. But yeah, Canadian TV was my childhood, I guess, and young adulthood until 2009, 10. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I know I haven't done that, but this is the last one. I can't say the next one, so I'll see you in the next one.